Jr. again, and today I wanted to show you something really cool. I've never seen this before. To get like excess rust and grime and just built up stuff from anything, from any kind of metal, and the thing that I found to work the best, and I know a lot of people, they always tell you the Brillo pads are what they would use to scrub, but the Brillo pads eventually they go out pretty quick. So the one thing that I found that I was just testing out, because I was really scraping at this stuff for a while with regular stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, this is going to take me forever. So actually, if you can see, I'm actually using a was it a drywall sponge, and those things are like awesomely like abrasive, but not too invasive. If that makes sense. And I'm telling you, I've been getting rust and built up things on this oven in particular, and just other things in general. So I'll just give you an example. Like I just started doing this halfway point, and it's fast. This does not take a long time, and you don't need a certain kind of chemical. Like yeah, you can use CLR or something like that. That's fine. I like CLR if I'm gonna like if I'm gonna dip it in there and leave it in there for a little bit. But let's just say for this, for instance, we got all this just all this built up, I don't know, just soot and just grease and rust and all kinds of fun stuff on this bottom part of this oven. So this is the part I'm just going to show you. So we're going to do this section real quick. So the first thing I do, just spray it down. You can use WD-40. This is actually just this is just a liquid wrench super lubricant. So you can actually use any kind of lubricant on it, and you don't even have to let it sit for that long. Just let it get in there a little bit, the parts that you're trying to get. And we're going to let that sit. And what's cool is it's not super flammable either. So we have our drywall sponge, and now we have, and I'm just going to have a towel to the side, when I need to wipe stuff down. So like I said, I already started right here, but I'm just going to show you, just so you can see, right, this area right here. It's just nasty. It's just built up. They've had this oven for a while. Look, I just sprayed that on, and with this drywall sponge, which is what you would usually use to, shave down spackle on drywall and things like that, actually works friggin' awesome with this. Unbelievable. No super chemicals or anything like that, and this is just a lubricant, so it's not gonna, affect, it's not gonna eat away at anything either. If anything, it's just gonna make it shine better, and make it, if you're putting it on, like if it's going around like hinges and things like that, so everything will open up a little bit easier. But if you saw it just real quick, so all we need to do is just get it onto it. And even if you get it on the floor, just wipe it off. It's not a big deal. So just find the circular motion right now will be our best bet here. And like I said, this is for any metal surface. I actually used it on a skeleton key that I have for the house that was maybe almost 80 years old. Rusted up, nasty, and used this sponge on it. I used a little bit of CLR, but I could have still just used some kind of lubricant and it would have done the same thing. And now that key looks absolutely brand new. And these sponges, these drywall sponges that you use to sand down spackle and so forth. They're not expensive at all, and they will last a long time too. So you could use one sponge for tons of different things. And you know, I just let them dry out. I haven't even really been washing them. I mean, this is doing, but if you see just that small little difference there that we just have, because this is an oven this was an oven we were actually thinking about just getting a new one because of all the built up of the, you know, the grease and the rust, and the igniter went. So, and you know what? After just kind of experimenting and seeing what did and what didn't work, even though there was frustration involved in trying to find, you know, something that was quicker, that wouldn't take forever. I don't even think that's rough. Let's see. You know, we want to get it done. We don't want to spend all freaking day doing stuff. You know, we want to get it done, you know, and move on to our next project, and that's what we want to do. So look at that difference from what it was a couple minutes, you know, however long it was ago, to that now. I mean, it's like it's brand new again, essentially. So, and I can just do that to this whole, you know, I'm just going to do that to the rest of this. I can even do it on the inside of the oven as well. So I'll just show you real quick. We can get in here. Let's see. I'm using a really bizarre attachment here. So you see in here, we even have some buildup over here. Same thing. I'm just going to use WD-40. I mean, obviously, if you use enough, I mean, it's flammable. You know, it can be flammable, but at what we're using it for right now, we are totally fine. So, if you can see in there, let's see how that works out. Now I know inside there's maybe a little bit more, but I'm just gonna do these top parts just to see, you know, what the difference can be between, you know, these top parts and then the bottom parts. Now in here it's a little bit more tricky. I don't have as much leverage as I did on the outside, and obviously for aesthetics, being aesthetically pleasing, the outside is more important. But even with a self-clean oven, you're still going to get buildup. So let's see. So look at that right there. Oh my God, that looks effing fantastic. I mean, just for that. I mean, we just did that for however, like 45 seconds, not even. And that was just scrubbing that. I mean, just beautiful. And then it'll have, you know, for a little bit, a nice little shine to it. And the smell goes away pretty quickly. You know, using a somewhat ventilated area. And even if you're not, it'll still dissipate pretty quick. But I'm telling you, anything that has rust on it, like I said, you can use CLR. This is just the quickest right here. You know, some kind of WD-40 or lubricant is definitely the quickest way to do it. Just spray it, let it sit even just for a couple seconds, and then just start scrubbing away with the drywall sponge. The drywall sponge, sander, whatever the hell you want to call it. I just call it drywall sponge. But this drywall sander is the best thing I've come across to get off rust completely and quickly. Now there was two more things I wanted to even just show you that you can use it on anything. So this was, let's see here. these were two other things that I had that I was going to do. This little pizza cover, if you can see that. Trying to bend this hinge that I'm on right now, but if you can see this down here, this cover, for making a pizza pie, is super old, and I really just use it just to throw, like, garlic bread and stuff like that. So same thing. I'm just going to spray a little. I'll spray the whole thing, but I'm just going to do a little area just to show you. And then, actually on here, the covers for the top of the stove for the pilot, those get really bad too. And like I said, you can use this for anything, but this is just something that I came across. So these actually can get pretty bad. Like some of the built up stuff over here might not scrape off, but you'll at least get any built up grime that builds up around these, around those little sections and so forth. But that's it. So I'll let that one sit, and I'm using the Polaroid cube, so that thing is fantastic. So you'll be able to see this hopefully. So I'm just going to do the middle real quick. Let's see how well that does in a circular motion. And this thing has been, like, abused. I mean, we just tore this thing apart. So, and I guarantee you, I mean, obviously I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I could clean this whole thing, which has been built up for, however long now, years. This thing's probably decades old, and has just been totally destroyed. I mean, we made it worse with this oven, just burning stuff to the, with it. Like I said, I'm just trying to do the centerpiece, and I'm going a little bit harder on it, and what's cool is I'm not losing, like if you had a Brillo pad, you would start losing the texture. I'm not losing a lot of texture with this drywall sponge, which is fantastic. So let's just see that difference just from the center. So from what that was to what that is now. Like, yeah, it's got scratches on it and so forth, but that's another story. But, I mean, unbelievable. And like I said, no time at all. The other things are especially, like, because this is really good for the stoves, because, you're cooking. I mean, at least we cook all the time. We got a couple people living here, and, we can clean it to the best of our ability, but this stove was older, and the people that lived here before us, it was a mess when we moved in. So, and you can get around pretty well too, all the different sections. You can see it coming off. I'm not taking off any of the black paint with it either. We have enough, we have enough space, between the lubricant and the sponge as well, that we're not destroying we're not, deteriorating anything. And that's why with this is why I would probably recommend using just a lubricant instead of CLR. CLR is more of like a hardcore thing. Like, you could let that thing sit and it'll do its job, but it'll eat away stuff too that you don't want to. So this lubricant will not do that, which is a huge plus. So you get the sides, all that like grease that's just been spilling out for years, and all you've been able to do is just wash it and scrub it a little bit, and oh, okay, yeah, it looks okay, yeah, all right. Well, you know what? Now it looks friggin' awesome. So let's just see. Now we cleaned all the rust. This kind of stuff, that's just from just whatchamacallit. That was the actual material being burnt onto it. So that has nothing to do with what we're doing right now, which I'm sure that could even get off as well. But like, let's do real quick. I think like that little area. Like we could get off really quick with the sponge. Do circular, do whatever. There's no like official thing here. Make sure you do it circular, or make sure you do it up and down. This is why. Nah, just get the crap off. And this freaking stove, it's a great. It really is a great stove. It was just so dirty. It was just so freaking dirty when we moved into this house, and then we made it dirtier. And then finally, we said, you know what? I'm not spending a couple $100 more on a new stove if we don't need to. I can buy one part for it, clean it, and that's it, and it'll look fantastic again. So, like I said, some of this, that's just like, that's not rust or grime. That looks more like, honestly, it looks more like something, like some kind of metal that got burned onto it than anything else. So, but you can try to get in where you can, and you'll see the difference. I mean, almost immediately. You can use a paper towel. I'm just using a cloth here. Sometimes with these guys, because this is like super grease that was on here. I don't know if that's really grease, but I'll try it again. Let's see here. As long as you hear that sound, I mean, eventually, yeah, the drywall sponge will, lose its abrasiveness, but it doesn't lose it for a while. I mean, I've been using this sponge now for a little bit prior to this video, doing other things, and just having stuff come, right off, that was, meant to come off. Nothing that was like burned onto something or anything like that. So, but yeah, so that middle part's totally good. Like I said, like that stuff, that's just burns. But the stuff that you can clean, like that's just like, it's almost like weld. It's almost like welded. That's the word I was looking for. Like that's like welded on there. So that's not going anywhere. But if you can tell, the difference just between that side and this side, what that looked like and what that looked like, just from before a couple minutes of scrubbing this front area of the stove. You can use them for, I used it for keys, I've used them for locks, all kinds of different stuff. It's just the quickest way. If you are looking to just like completely get something down to its, I mean, this is a fantastic way and a very easy and quick way. But what I've done, and you can also use the denatured alcohol too, because that evaporates pretty quick. But the other thing is, like, if you wanted, say, like I had this really old school chain on the bottom, and I liked that. It was a cool looking chain for the door, chain lock. So what I did with that one was I just threw it in a little metal container, filled it with CLR, and actually just let it sit like overnight. Actually, I might let it sit for like 2 days in there, and it just like made it completely like capable of where I could just wipe it off, and it was like brand new. I could change the color if I wanted to, make it look really nice. But so you could use, this is just a really good application of something for the oven or for the top of the stove. So you could use that because even up here we have, I mean, it's not dirty. Like even up here, I had so much stuff in here. Like this was just straight black, and I usually try to cover that, but it's okay. Like that was just straight black. All of these were just straight black, just straight filled up with just grime and nasty stuff. And the only thing with the top of these stoves is you have to just, sometimes there's areas where the actual where it's not actual grime, it's just actual you know, the material actually just coming off. So I mean, that's where you want to be careful. So like that, I don't think that's like that area right there. Like I think that's just coming off a little bit. But damn, I am a very popular guy today. But that's just another, for instance, you can use that. I would be maybe a little bit more lighter on the top of the stove than anything else. So, but other than that, the main purpose of this video was for rust, excessive grease buildup, and things like that. So, really good application, really good way. So just like I said, some kind of lubricant. This WD-40. You can use denatural alcohol. Those are, I would say, the top three that I would use. And then just those drywall sponges. You can get them anywhere, Home Depot, you know, Lowe's, wherever the hell you go, a home improvement center. So, I mean, just look at that difference. You know, it's unbelievable, and it's quick. You know, so you're not spending, you know, all day on one thing. So, like in here, I might spend like a little bit more time, but and not nearly as much time if I was trying to do using a Brillo pad and some other crap, you know, and crazy chemicals. Like, you know, I mean, I know you can wear, like with this I don't have to wear gloves, I'm fine, you know, I'll wash it off, you know, maybe a little bit of Gojo, but that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just to show you, again, different things that you can do, inexpensive, like cheap, and you know, just a paper towel or some rags. I just keep you know, rewashing rags and sponges here just to wipe things down, and that's it. You know, I'm not using them to clean our dishes or anything, but you know, I'll use it to clean stuff like this out to make it look good. So, but fantastic way. This is a fantastic way of removing rust, grease, grime, any kind of like extra soot or anything like that. It's not super abrasive. You can use a little bit of muscle power into it, but other than that, that's the best way to go. So I'm gonna clean the hell out of this oven. I'm gonna make it look spectacular and get a new igniter that I pulled out, or whatever they call it, igniter, the ignition, and make this stove look freaking brand new again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really trying to stay in my format of either, you know, easy how-tos, you know, temporary fixes, even permanent fixes. You know, the how-tos are what I'm really trying to do. So I hope you guys appreciate them. Please subscribe, please like. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions, if there's a tip that you're looking for or anything like that. I literally have everything under the sun in this house right now that I can use for anything. So I have a lot more videos that I'm gonna do, you know, which is, you know, I'll be using them temporarily to show you what I'm doing, you know, but I'm also working on the house simultaneously. But when I come across something that I think would be helpful, I will definitely throw it out to you guys. Please give me some feedback. And this is actually the first video that I really kind of announced that I do have a separate website, and it's called Amazing Mazes. And it sounds bizarre, and not a lot of people do it, but it's actually more of a site for anyone who's interested in trying to focus a little bit more. So I make these like little intricate mazes, and you can print them out, or you can open it up and do it through the computer. But I'm putting those links on the videos and so forth. Just exit them out. I know I know annotations are a little annoying, but check out the Amazing Mazes website. They're always linked in all my videos and so forth now. But and let me know what you think about that too, because that's just exploring different things. But like I said, my primary thing is going to be how-to videos, instructional videos, and like software videos. So cool, guys. Appreciate you watching. I left this a little bit longer to make it maybe a little bit more personal, but feel free to leave me any feedback. I would appreciate it, and anything I can help you out with, man, because I got tons of time and an entire house to fix right now. So I am moving constantly. So thanks for watching. Later.